Hi everyone, this is Rosa Kelly. I'm so happy to be back. As you know, I've been recovering from knee surgery and I am finally back on my craft room and it feels so good. So today I'm gonna be working on a Christmas junk journal, and I decided to kind of walk you through the process of how I make my journals. This one is gonna be a little bit different to my previous junk journal tutorial that I've done, but I will link that one below if you want to, compare different options. For this journal, I'm using the Christmas Remnants collection by Dreamz Etc. I will link down below the link to their website where you can get these awesome files. Now I got the bundle pack because I really feel like you get a lot. I mean, it's just so much, and I printed a bunch of sheets, but believe me, there is a lot more to this collection. So let me just quickly show you the beautiful images. It's very Chevy and romantic and a little bit Victorian, and it's just so beautiful. I love the pink vintage Christmas collections. So the collection comes with these ephemera pieces. I already fussy cut everything out. I print everything on 65-pound cardstock. I also printed out all the tags, and the collection also comes with journaling cards. These are more ephemera. It comes with envelopes. All you do is just fussy cut the envelope around, and this one as well. And then it also comes with a lot of pieces, as you can see. But I wanted to show you that it also, over here, has like journaling cards. I have a lot. I have a lot more. So yeah, so it's a beautiful collection. Check it out. Also, I printed out the sheets. So the sheets I print out on normal printer paper, not cardstock, just regular bond paper. And I do that because after I cut them, the sheets are 8 by 10. So when you print them out on your computer, you're gonna print out on 8.5 by 11. So you just trim it a little bit to, to the border of the image. And so I print on regular paper, because then I go back and I put them side to side like this, and then I stitch along the side here and here, top and bottom, so that way when you put it in your journal, you have a little pocket on both sides. So that's what I did. That's what I've done so far. I went ahead and stitched side to back the collections. These are the sheets of the actual collection. You also get fabric sheets, and they're really cute, but I really love these images, so that's what I wanted to go for. And like I said, you get a lot of downloads, so I probably have enough to make 2 journals, if not 3. So look how beautiful the paper is. I just fell in love with it right away, and I knew I wanted to make a very shabby Christmas journal. Okay, so those are the sheets. Also, I went ahead and I coffee dyed my paper. Again, this is the same bond paper. I'm sorry, this is tea dye paper. Tea dye paper. When I tea dye my paper, to make it look this dark, I put it in the oven for 15 minutes. So I do 2 sheets at a time, and I put them on the cooking sheet, and I leave it on the oven at 250 degrees for 15 minutes. And I also soak the paper on the tea for 15 minutes to get this beautiful caramel color. And then the longer you leave it on the oven, the longer it will start getting marks like this. For example, this one, I think I forgot to take it out, and that's why I got like that. Now another tip is, when I cut my paper, because I knew I wanted these to be 8 by 10 instead of 8.5 by 11, I trimmed it before I dyed the paper, because otherwise then you have to cut it after you dye it, and it's more difficult. And also because I really love how the edges burn a little bit on the oven, and if you have to trim that out after, you're losing all of that. So that's why I trim mine before I put them in the oven, before I put them in the tea. Okay, so that is the paper. I'm also going to be using some envelopes, and I did the same thing with these envelopes. So I just tea dyed a bunch of envelopes. I'm going to be using a recycle box. This is a recycle box of Cheerios. So this is a big Cheerios, and I did cut these at 8 1/4 by 10 1/2. Okay, so and then I fold it in half. Now notice that I don't score and fold really tight. I just do like a soft fold like this, and this is gonna be the cover. And I am also gonna be using fabric for my cover. Now because I'm still recovering, I haven't went to the store or anything. I haven't left my house in days. So it feels good to be talking right now. But so I don't have any Christmas fabric with me, but I thought this pink fabric will go really pretty with the collection. And then also I'm gonna be using some of the ephemera for the cover anyway. So this, I think this works for me right now. And I'm also going to be using some different laces and trims. I just picked this one out to show you, but I have a couple other that I'll probably be using as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with the cover. Like I said, I'm reusing a cereal box here. You can use any kind of cardstock, or this is a little bit heavier than cardstock, but obviously not as heavy as chipboard. I think this is a Cheerios box. Yes, so that's the one. I really like this. Some cereal boxes are really good, some are too thin and I don't like to use them, so you really kind of have to play around with it. I actually look at the box when I go do grocery shopping more than the cereal. I know, it's crazy because I know I'll reuse the box and my kids will eat any cereal. So anyway, that's a different story. So I'm going to be cutting my fabric to the size that I want here, and this is double, so I'll make sure I cut just one. And so this fabric is very thin in terms of like the color will probably show. Let's just cut this out on the back here. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, good. I'm happy. Because sometimes if the color of your cereal box shows, then I will cover everything with white cardstock or paper, but this doesn't show, so I'm actually happy about that. Okay, so I'm going to kind of just use my fabric tag glue to place it in place, and then I'm gonna be sewing on my sewing machine just around. Now I just recently started using my sewing machine, and for me it's more for like decoration. So if you don't have a sewing machine, or if you don't know how to use one, don't feel like you can't do it. You can just do it with the fabric tag glue, and it will still look really good. Okay, so I'm just gonna place this right down here, just like that. Now, because I'm actually gonna be using one of my images on the front cover, I'm actually going to trim this a little bit smaller, and I'm just gonna glue it, and then I'm gonna stitch everything together. And I really like this image, so that way we're creating like a little collage on the front also. Okay, so now this is gonna go like this, and this is gonna go like so, and maybe I'm gonna trim this just a little bit on the top. It seems like it's maybe a bit too long. Okay, so now I'm gonna place this right here, and I'm gonna put a little bit of glue just to hold it in place, and then again I'm gonna stitch everything around. Now if you're not gonna stitch this around and you're just gluing it, I will ink the edges in this dress a little bit, So now I have this in place, and I'm gonna go stitch this around, and I'll be right back. I went ahead and I stitch all around, and now what I'm gonna do is just continue with the binding here, and I'm just gonna use my glue for that. So then I just fold it, and I just go like this, same as if we were doing any normal binding. And make sure you fold this corner in, and I might just have to cut this extra thread. See? And then I'm just gonna put a little bit more glue right there, and I'm gonna fold this in as well and put a little bit more glue in here, just like that, and tuck in this little corner, and this one as well. Let's see. And when you tuck it in, make sure it's not too bulky, because we're gonna put cardstock on top of these pages. So there we go. Now we have something like this. And I don't know if I'm gonna stitch around the border. I might not, just because it's very close to the edge and I already have this stitch here. So I think this will do for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cover up the inside. Now you can put more fabric all on the inside, or you can just put another piece of cardstock. So I might just do these two like so, and I'm just gonna again use my glue and do this, and one on this side. I love this image. These little girls are so cute. And then I'm gonna do the same on this other side. And notice that I'm using fabric tack glue because I want to make sure it sticks to the fabric. So down the center here is where you're gonna stitch your signatures in, so you won't really see this part that much. So I'm just gonna cover it with lace so we can see the edge of the lace after I stitch the signature in. Now this journal is just gonna be a one signature type of journal. The other tutorial that I have, it shows you how you could do multiple signatures because you actually have a spine on it. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry, and in the meantime we can start working on the inside signature. Now over here, once this is dry, I'm actually going to still collage an image on the front. Okay, so now we're gonna build the signature. So as I show you, I'm gonna be using the pages from the collection that I stitched together. I put them back to back. I'm gonna be using the the tea-dyed envelopes and the tea-dyed paper, and I'm also adding these music notes. So everything we're gonna fold in half. I mean, I already prepared this, so it's very easy, ready to go. I think this was the part that was very time consuming, was folding all these papers in half, because I did do a lot. But you know, it's nothing difficult. So I picked the one that I want on the front, and then I just start building. Now I'm gonna add this envelope. Now the envelope, I do like to glue it, close it up first, because I'm gonna fold it in half and use it as a little pocket or a little tack spot. So I'm gonna glue it, fold it in half, just like that, and then I'm gonna cut the sides so we have two little pockets over here. So this envelope I'm gonna add maybe somewhere over there, and maybe I'll add one more. And I think what the fun part about making journals is the fact that you combine all these different pieces. Like if you were to be making a junk journal, all the pieces will be like very different, very vintage. Mine is not really a junk journal because I'm not using a lot of like different elements. I'm just calling it a journal. And so then I'm gonna use one more of this one, and I think this one's really cute, and that is gonna be my center. Let's see. So I like to make sure that there is a lot of room for journaling, because ultimately this is probably gonna be like a December daily type of Christmas journal, maybe. I'm not sure yet. But I do like to give a lot of options for pictures and, you know, pockets and things like that. So I'm gonna probably just use this here, and I feel like it's getting really chunky, but maybe I'll add just a couple more of these. Now also what I do want to mention is, if you like to stitch on the paper, which I'll probably be doing in a minute, you want to do that before you bind it all together. Okay, so I think I have my signature ready to go. I'm just gonna go back and stitch just a little bit on some of the pages just for decoration, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I added some stitching on some of these pages. I'm leaving some without because I'm going to be adding some lace. Also, I want to show you, I have this little wooden box thingy here on my desk, and over here I always like put different pieces that I later on come back and pull to do my journal. So it's always a good idea to have everything out on hand like this. Like I can probably pull one of these paper bags, and you know, I just have different textures and things like that. It just makes it a lot easier when you're pulling different things. So if I'm going to include this bag, then I'm going to cut the button just like we did with the envelope. Also, I found this piece of paper that I just love how grungy it is. I think my friend Anna Torres sent it to me, and so I'm gonna see if I can fit this here. Maybe I need to make this just a little bit smaller. I can place it over here somewhere, just like that. And then maybe I can include this back, fold it in half, and this will be another set of pockets. So let's see where I kind of want this, maybe over here. Okay, so now that we have all of our elements combined here to make our journal, you want to make sure they're all center and even. Okay, so I have my needle ready. I'm using this eyelash trim here, and I picked this up at Michael's last year. So I just had this on my stash. You can use twine, or let me see, I usually just use something like this type of organic twine. So yeah, so you have different options for your binding. Also, let me show you the needles that I use. You can find these at Joann's or Michael's, and this is the tapestry needles, and you can either get the round edge or the sharp point edge. I don't have the box for this one, but I really do prefer the sharp point. It makes everything a lot easier. Also, you might want to use something to just kind of punch the holes ahead. That also helps. Okay, so what we're gonna do is just hold this right here on the center, so it also helps to put it all together just like that, and then we can clip it so it's not moving. Okay, so I start on here. Now, like I said, it's a lot easier, just mark it, to go with this than to do it with the needle, because this is a lot stronger. See that? So I'm already all the way out. So now that I have that, I go and use my needle, and this just makes everything a lot easier. And all I have to do is punch through the cardstock, which is a little bit difficult, but there you go. Now it's coming out. See that? It's like a baby being born. And there we go. So I'm just gonna punch this, and now I just pull. And when I pull this, because my what do you call this? My twine is kind of fuzzy. I'm just gonna start pulling them from here, one at a time. See, now I can take these out, because now I already know where this is all going. So I start just going from here and making sure this passes without breaking the pages. So we have the punch already, the hole already in place. So even if these mess up and come out of place, then that's totally okay. I'm just trying to work them through the needle. And I think I'm good enough to pull now. Maybe a little bit more help. Oh, this is already passed through, and this one is, so it's just the last one. There we go. So then I pull. Make sure that you have enough left over on this side so you don't lose it. And now we're gonna go back and center it again. Make sure it's where you want it to be. And I'm gonna clip it one more time. Now this coming back part, it's a little bit more difficult for me because this cardstock is really thick. So I'm just gonna punch the hole and make sure that when it comes out on the middle here, just like that. See that? Okay, so now this is gonna be a lot easier because we just go right out. And now we're gonna do the same thing in reverse. We're gonna make sure this guy passes through first. There you go. And then we just start, we can take this out and we can start just passing just like 2 or 3 at a time, just like that. And then we can take that out and pass it all the way through. Just like this. Simple, and well, not super simple, but easy enough. And then all I do is just go and make a little knot. I hold it right here in the center. I always have trouble tying these. I always have to get my head girls help. I need like an extra finger. I think I can manage to do it. Here we go. And now we have this pretty eyelash lace or trim just hanging. Now we have our little journal binded all together. And oh my goodness, I love it already. So now what we're gonna do next is start embellishing. And for that, I'm gonna be using some of my lace and some of my ephemera as well. So I'm gonna just put everything out here so it's easy for me to see what I'm working with. And there's so much on this collection. I probably won't be using all of it, but definitely I want to include some elements. Okay, so now for the lace, I like to place one always on the front like this. Okay, now for this lace, I'm just gonna add it with fabric tack glue. Of course you can stitch it as well, but my lace is so wide, you know, like that. I've noticed when I stitch it before, it doesn't really hold the stitch. So I'm just gonna glue it. Move this to the side. Let's see. So just a little bit of glue here on this edge, just like that, and then I put my glue, my lace. And always just hold this open for a little bit until it dries, otherwise your pages will start gluing together and you don't want that to happen. And then it looks so pretty. It looks so pretty with this border. So I'm gonna do the same here on the back. Cut another piece just like this, maybe to here, and do the same thing here on the back. Okay, and I'm just gonna place this just like this. So pretty. And then on the inside I will be adding some lace as well. Let me find a different one. I think I have a pink one. Okay, so I have this very pretty delicate lace, and I got this one in Peru recently. I love it. So I'm just gonna add a couple of these just so we can add a variety of laces. I always like doing that. And then also the pink that is gonna make the collection look more shabby, the journal more shabby. See? And you can see a little bit of the pink, and it's so pretty. So I'm gonna do this one more time somewhere else. Let's see, maybe here. So I also like to spread when I add the laces, so when you look at it from the side of the journal, it looks like they're everywhere. Okay, so that, and now this one. I love it. I love it already. Cut this out a little bit. Okay, so now we have some laces on the side. I might need another one here. So, and then I also have this other pink one that's smaller, so I'm gonna use that one here. And I'm very into the pink Christmas this year. It seems like a lot of collections came out with the pink Christmas, the sweet, sweet colors, and it's just very pretty. I like all Christmas. Like, I also like traditional, like, I just like it all. But the pink, it's really calling me this year. I love it. Look, that looks so pretty. Okay, so now we're done with our lace, and I'm gonna use some of these ephemera cards, or these are like the journaling cards, and I'm gonna use them as like a little pocket. And before I add those, I'm going to ink the edges a little bit, just so it doesn't look super pale. And just go around like this, makes it look a little bit more vintagey, just like so. Okay, so now I have one to create a pocket, and let me see, where do I want to put this? I think here. So when I create the pocket, I'm just gonna make like a U shape over here. Now I'm using fabric tag because I don't want to wrinkle my paper by using other types of glue. You can also use double-sided tape and just create like a U shape, but I feel like the glue is just a lot faster. Okay, so that way you won't wrinkle your paper on the back. All right, so I'm gonna do this one more time with another one of these journaling cards. And I'm gonna add a little bit more color to this one, and then this is the fun part, right? Decorating, finding places to add pockets, making sure that every page has some kind of decoration, but at the same time you want to leave enough room for journaling. You know, that is the purpose after all. To journal your Christmas times, your Christmas memories, traditions, your favorite food. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. can't wait. Okay, so then these little tags, I'm gonna punch a hole. Okay, so I'm just gonna do one hole. I like that she already marked where you're putting your hole, because I am really lazy to measure things and center, so I always just go with whatever. All right, so I'm gonna just grab one of these and pass it through and do something quick and simple like this. Just like that. And then I'm gonna start placing these inside my pockets that I just made. So that looks kind of cute. Okay, so I'm gonna do a couple more of those. I'll be right back. So now I want to decorate some of the envelopes or little paper bags that I added. So I'm gonna use some of the leftover scrap pieces of fabric that I have and just create like a little collage. So I'm just gonna use this part here with this cute flower, and just do what I love about collages is like it's just so free-handed. You just play, and there's no rules or anything like that. You know, you're not measuring anything. It's just very like a very relaxing process. So, and I'm gonna use some of these very cute ephemera pieces. Maybe there's just like a little ticket here that I love. Where is it? Oh, here. Like I'm just gonna do just a little collage of different pieces. So I'm gonna put this little ticket there, and I have this image, and I also have this. Oh, there. I think I like this one better. So then I'm just gonna add this cute angel, just like that. So now we decorated a cute our envelope here. Very pretty. And then I'm gonna grab one of the journaling cards and just put it inside. Perfect. So then I'll go ahead and decorate. Let me decorate this paper bag over here. So there's all these pieces that we can play with. Just maybe something like that, and maybe we can add just a little bit of lace to make it more interesting. Something like this, like that. And then maybe this one. It says joy, and then we can add the image of this very pretty angel. Just like that. So this is why I love all this ephemera. It's so cute. It's just so easy to make journals when you have all the right pieces. Okay, so then I'm gonna use one of these cards again to journal. So also we can use the ephemera itself to create a little text spot. So for example, I'm gonna be using this image of Santa, and I'm just adding glue to one of the sides, and I'm gonna place them right over here. See, just like that. And then I found one of these pieces from the collection, and that will just go right over there. And then I will be adding another one. Just make sure we have room for journal too, right? And then let me go ahead and add this one. I love this image. I do think it's a little bit big for my page. Well, it's not too big. Maybe if I just put it like this, and I might have to trim something out. Okay. I'm sorry, horse. I'm really sorry. Really. Okay, so just like this, I'm gonna place this right there. And again, I'm gonna try to make this into a little pocket. So I'm just gonna put the glue on the bottom like this, and just place this just like that. And now another one of these journaling cards, maybe this one can go right there. Fun, huh? It's so much fun to decorate a journal. So then I'm gonna use one of the envelopes from the cutouts, and just, I love that they're already just ready for you to fold. Very easy to make, just like that. I'm not even scoring or anything, so I'm just gonna put it together like this. All we need is a little bit of glue. Oops, come on, glue. Right there, and a little bit right there. Don't put too much glue, otherwise you're gonna close your pocket. So this is perfect. And then this can be tagged on the side of the album, the side of the journal. You know, you can clip it on the side, or you can actually glue it here as well. So you have a tag spot on this side and a flip out on the other side. So I might just do that. Let me just find a page where I can do that. So this one. Okay. So I'm gonna place these right like that. And so what I'm gonna do is just put a little bit of glue on this side. And just use this as a little tag, place to tag something. And then the inside, we can probably add one of these journaling cards, but I need to make this one smaller. That can go right inside like this. Let's see if it fits. There you go. So that's how we can use the envelopes. Of course, you don't have to glue it. We can have it separate as an attachment to the journal. So journals are also a really good way to reuse all your leftover lace pieces or trim pieces from other projects. For example, I have this beautiful little piece of tulle that has these beautiful embroidered flowers on it, and this is all I have left and I love it. So we can create a little tip in here. So I'm just gonna use my fabric tag glue again, just on the top, and I can just press these, and then we have a cute, you know, element to our journals. And of course we can still journal on the back of that. I think it just gives it a really cute look. You can of course stitch if you like. So now we can go ahead and start working on decorating my cover. I have this crochet doily that I think is so pretty, and then I'm gonna add the Merry Christmas here. I do want to ink the sides because my fussy cutting is not all that great. So you can still see a little of the white. And I'm also gonna ink inside here, just so it's not so bright. And yeah, so I'm just gonna add this right here, just so pretty. Okay, so then finally I'm gonna use a piece of Sari silk, and this was sent to me by my friend Anna, so thank you Anna so much. Anna and I have both been recovering from surgery together. So we've been chatting and texting all day basically. So She's so sweet, super sweet. So I hope that you guys like this tutorial. I am going to make another one, and I'm gonna have these ones listed on my website for sale. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.